We are so blessed to have somebody here in the faculty that not only loves you from his heart, but cares about this school so much that he's truly called here by God. Enriched in Franciscan tradition, grown by the great brothers and coaches and faculty and staff that are here, he found his way. He's going to talk to you today about how he and his path was affected thanks to St. Anthony's and God in his life.
So, Mr. Kahlberg, thank you very much. I appreciate the introduction. And thank you very much to Brother Richard for asking me to be here this morning. I'm extremely excited to be here with you guys. This is exciting for me to be here. And like Mr. Kahlberg just said, I truly do see you guys as family. You're part of the Friar family right now, class of 2024. So I truly do see you guys as family, and I'm a part of this family as well, so I'm excited. So let's just talk about your journey here before we talk about who I am, right? As walking through the doors of St. Anthony's isn't difficult enough. You guys are here in this crazy world that we live in 2020. So coming through the doors in September, I'm sure it was difficult already, and now you guys are here in this environment. You're struggling to meet people because we're distanced at the cafeteria tables. You have masks on. You can't see who's behind that mask. So it's extremely difficult. So the community here, our thoughts and prayers are with you guys every day, and it has been a blessing to see so many of you out on the athletic fields, getting to know one another. It's just a great place, to meet friends. And then for many of you guys too, to start to engage in extracurricular activities, because that's such a huge part of your high school experience. So please continue to do so. Get involved. Okay, don't be afraid of this environment that we're in. Kind of dive into it and be a part of it. All right, and that's only going to help your experience be better as we go through this freshman year for you guys. So let's go back to who I am. So, like Mr. Kahlberg said, my name is Mr. Minucci. I'm the athletic director here at St. Anthony's. This is my 6th year as athletic director. Prior to being the athletic director, I was the assistant athletic director for 1 year. But then I also spent time in the physical education and health education department, for a couple years teaching in the classroom. I'm also your varsity football head coach. This is my 2nd year there. Prior to that, since about 2004, in some capacity, I was back and forth coaching football here, but I also had some time in the wrestling room, coaching wrestling, amongst some other things that I did in the athletic world. I'm also an alum, and I think this is a funny picture that I found here. I'm up in front, the big guy with the 6'8", and then actually number 3 to my right on the screen is Mr. Washington, your academic dean. So we were a class of 99 together. 2 of, I believe, 4 faculty members here that are from the class of 1999, so I think that's pretty special. And kind of also tucked away behind number 54 over there is Mr. Menzer, who is a class of 2000, and he's also a history teacher here as well. So, back then, we all shared a lot of great experiences while we were here, and I think that has a lot to do with why we are back here at St. Anthony's. And I like to think that, to me, being an alum of this place is what's most important. Because without coming to St. Anthony's, my life, I'm not sure where it would be right now, because St. Anthony's kind of helped put things into place for me, and I'll talk a little bit about that as we go. So my journey to St. Anthony's, all right, my journey to, through, and then beyond St. Anthony's. So my journey to St. Anthony's, all right, I was a public school student. I grew up in Lindenhurst. I went to Lindenhurst Elementary School. I went to the Lindenhurst Middle School. My mom was a teacher in the Lindenhurst School District. And just one day, my mom said to me, "What do you think about going to St. Anthony's?" And truth be told, guys, I really knew nothing about St. Anthony's. I knew nothing at all. So my mom says, "What do you think? Do you want to go?" And really, without any hesitation, too much thought, sure, that sounds good. And my mom thought it would be good for me. My dad thought it would be good for me. So I said, "Yeah, I'm in. I'll do it." I didn't think about the friends I was leaving behind. I didn't think about the comfort factor at Lindenhurst. I mean, people knew me there. My high school experience there, I think probably would have been okay. But again, my mom threw this at me, and without hesitation, I said, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." And like I just previously said, I can't imagine my life right now, what it would be like without making that decision. And it's one of those times, 20, almost 30 years later, I think about, why was that decision so easy for me at that time? And I say to myself, maybe that's one of those times in my life, where the influence of God said, yes, say yes, go. And you don't notice it, you don't recognize it when it happens, but when you reflect back and you think about it, and you say, maybe that was, some intervention in my life right there, where this is the path that God chose for me, and this is the direction I'm going to go in. So as I said, my life wouldn't be the same. So these are my two beautiful children here, if you guys can see that. On the left is my daughter, Cecilia. She's in 2nd grade. She's in the middle as well with my son, Zach, and he's holding a football on the right. Obviously, they're spending time up here with me at St. Anthony's, since I do spend countless hours up here with you guys. I need to bring my family from home up here with us to celebrate and being, part of the Friar family here. My son is 3 years old. So I share this with you because when I was a student here, I met my wife here. I met my wife when I was a junior in high school. She was a sophomore. We were in health class together, room 108, which used to be a health class for quite a while, and I actually taught in room 108 health when I came back, which is kind of ironic. But I met her here. All right, so again, part one of why St. Anthony's was such a huge part of my life right now. Next is my journey through. So I went here, I played football here, I played multiple sports here. I was just kind of engulfed in athletics, which I think maybe is the reason why I enjoy being the athletic director so much right now. But all the hard work, being surrounded by all my peers and people that came here that wanted to work hard, they wanted to succeed, they wanted to do well in the classroom, they wanted to do well in course, in football, in this sport, and that, whatever it was, everybody wanted to do well here, right? So it was like the peer pressure of wanting to succeed. So after a lot of hard work and effort, it eventually led me to a place at the University of Delaware where I played football for the next 4 years in college. And when I went there, not only did I go there and I played football and I was a student athlete, but my roommate at the time was from New Jersey, a Catholic school in New Jersey, Don Bosco Prep. And the two of us would spend time together on Sundays over the 4 years, not every Sunday, but many Sundays over the 4 years where we would go to Mass together. Now in the hustle and bustle of college life, being a student athlete, which is difficult enough, it's a full-time job, maintaining grades, all that good stuff, we would go to Mass together on Sundays and spend time. And both of us used to say, we attribute that to when we were in high school, the relationship that we built with our faith and with God throughout high school. And that was what led to us wanting to be a part of that. When we talked about it, we both continued to do that over the next 4 years, which I think was really special. So again, all the hard work and sacrifice kind of led me to here, which kind of leads me to the next step of what football did for me. So it started with football here at St. Anthony's. It led to the University of Delaware, all right, and then I continued to move on to what came next. And what came next for me was some time as a professional athlete. So from 2004 to 2008, I chased my dream of being a professional athlete. Everybody wants to play in the NFL. Well, if you're a football player, you want to play in the NFL. Right? That's the goal. That's what you want to do. So I chased that dream, for almost 5 years. You can see here, there's a couple pictures. This is 2004, 5, 6, 7, like I just told you guys. So, I tried to find some pictures that maybe you guys would recognize some of the athletes. And I promise you, the picture on the left that you're looking at is me. It's not photoshopped. And the gentleman in the back is Peyton Manning. I think we all know who Peyton Manning is, right? So I had the opportunity to play on the football field with Peyton Manning. That's pretty, to me, that's an amazing accomplishment. The picture in the middle is a gentleman by the name of Mike Adams. Mike Adams and I were freshmen at the University of Delaware together. We both came in. We were both the only two freshmen that played as true freshmen. Mike had a much more successful NFL career than I did. He only retired last year after playing 15 years in the NFL. But we continue to have a relationship today. We had the opportunity of playing a preseason game together, so that's where that picture's from. And then on the right, again, I promise not photoshopped, I'm tackling Alex Smith, and I threw that picture in there because if you're an NFL fan, you kind of see what Alex Smith went through over the past couple of years, and he was finally able to return to the football field recently after the tragedy that he went through with breaking his leg and all that. And that picture, which I think is pretty cool, was actually in that documentary that he had on E60. I think it's kind of cool. Maybe ESPN can give me some royalties for that, but we don't know. So throughout this time here, I had the opportunity to share locker rooms with superstars like Drew Brees, Ray Lewis, Bart Scott, being meeting rooms with coaching icons like Sean Payton, Jeff Fisher, and Brian Billick. All right, some amazing people, and I'm going to share one story. When I went down to New Orleans, and another situation where I look back now, and maybe it's silly, maybe not the case, but I truly believe that God was present with me at that time. So in 2006, again, this was a tough journey for me. I was back and forth and playing in attempting to make an NFL team. I was playing arena football. I was back at St. Anthony's coaching. Lots of crazy things going on in my life at that time. So in 2006, I'm sitting outside my parents' house. I'm actually just shooting some hoops. It's kind of late evening. Just wondering what's next. I'm staying in shape. I'm preparing. I'm trying to get to the next level and do all that stuff. So preseason camp had started for about a week already. And as time goes by, every day that goes by, less and less likely that I'm gonna get a phone call and get invited to go get a team. Suddenly my phone rings. All right, it's my agent, and he says to me, what's going on? You ready? I said, of course, I'm ready. I can talk, and maybe, there you go. I'm ready. So he tells me, okay, in 24 hours, you're going to be on a flight to Mississippi. That's where the Saints were in their preseason camp at the time at Millsaps Community College. You're going to be down there in 24 hours. Get ready to go. How much are you weighing right now? And I think I'm a pretty big individual. But my knock for me in the NFL is a defensive lineman. I'm too small. All right? I'm just barely 6'3". Those guys are monsters, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". I was the small guy. So he got, how much are you weighing? I'm about 293 pounds at the time. All right, well, I told him, you got to be 200, you're 295 pounds, so get ready. So I hung up the phone. I ordered a pizza. I think I ate about the whole pizza that day and probably a couple bowls of ice cream to get to 295. I fly down there. I'm there. I get to 295. I'm there. I'm back. Right? I'm there. I have the opportunity to play. So as soon as I get there, I start practice that afternoon. And within a few days, there's one injury to someone in front of me, another injury in front of me. All of a sudden, within 72 hours, I'm thrust into the first-string defense. So not only am I thrust into the first-string defense, but everybody else is hurt. So I'm playing in the first string, the second string, the third string, it was crazy. I'm basically a rookie. I'm trying to prove that I belong here. So you can't say no. I can't tell anybody I'm tired, I'm hurt, my elbow hurts. I remember times where I could barely feel my elbow on my shoulder, but I had no choice. If I wanted to make it, this is what I had to do. So finally, after 10 to 14 days of that, we hadn't even played a preseason game yet. I am shot. I'm just beat up. My body hurts. I'm tired. We're sleeping in dorms. They're air conditioned, but I am just shot. So I wake up this morning, and if you've never been down to the South, we think it's hot here on Long Island in the summer days in August. The heat and humidity in Mississippi in the beginning and middle of August is basically unbearable. So I wake up, I leave the dorm room. We got about a half a mile to walk to get to the practice facility and the locker room. And I open the door and I just get smacked in the face by this heat and humidity. It almost sucks the air out of your lungs. It's so hot. I'm like, I don't think I can do this. I need a break. I gave it my best. I don't think I can hold up any longer. I'm tired and my body hurts. I don't know if I could do it. So I walk the half a mile. I get there, and when we get to the locker room, we're not going to the locker room there. There's all these coach buses, outside in the parking lot. I'm like, what's going on here? So that day, it just happened to be, as I'm walking down, I'm thinking to myself, I think I just have to pack it in. I gave it my best, like I said. I think I just have to pack it in. So I see these coach buses and wonder what's going on. We all rode up into the coach buses that morning, and Coach Payton takes the group to a water park. So it's basically a morning off. So we're all the water park is closed. We're in the water park. We're enjoying our time, having a good time. And for me, it was just like, thank God this happened. If this didn't happen right now and I would have got to practice, I don't know what, that might have been it for me. Like I said, as I'm walking down there, I'm just shot. So I'm just refreshed and, ready to go again. And as well as some of the other guys, we're just ready to go back at it. So we come back that afternoon, we go back to practice. I continue through. I play in all 4 preseason games. I get to week 1. It's the Wednesday before week 1. This was, in 2006. So we returned to New Orleans. It was the year after Hurricane Katrina. So I've been living in New Orleans at that time for about 2 weeks right now. It's week 1. I passed the big cut day that everybody hears about. All right, I'm there. I'm like, I'm gonna be here for week 1. And then I get the phone call on Wednesday, and I get cut. Right? So extremely disappointing. I wound up having to go home, and then a few things happened after that, and then a couple of years later, it was time to hang it up. So I think back at that day, right? Although I may have not made it, all right, I may have not had the career that I'd hoped for, I certainly had these unbelievable opportunities in front of me, which kind of led me back to here. This was part of my journey back to St. Anthony's, right? So I think back on that day where I almost gave up. And so often we think, we say prayers, we say really silly prayers sometimes, like, oh, please don't let me fail this test, or don't let mom or dad catch me. Like those silly things like, is anybody really listening there? So to me, this was like a silly thing at the time. But you know what? For me, I almost gave up. So maybe it was one of those times where we need to open up and recognize that God was present in what happened for me that day to allow me not to quit and to continue to push forward. So a quick side story that I want to share where I think, again, another time where I think God was present in my life. All right, so my journey back here. So after, I fast forwarded too fast here, brother. Sorry, I'm going to go back for a second. So my journey back, over 5 years, I was in and out of NFL camps. I played in the Arena Football League. I spent time in NFL practice squads. And like I shared with you, my journey ended in 2008 after, spending time rehabbing injuries. Throughout all that, there was plenty of times where I found myself back at St. Anthony's, where I was waiting for what's next. And it's those times where I spent time with family, friends, but I also spent time here at St. Anthony's with my Friar family. Anytime I was home, I was always welcome back on this football sideline to coach or to help other student athletes. It was during my time at home that I began to realize the impact my teachers and coaches at St. Anthony's had on me. The more time I spent at St. Anthony's, it became more and more clear that I wanted to do for others what they all did for me. I wanted to be back at St. Anthony's and do for others what they have done. So our family here at St. Anthony's may not be the same now as it was back in 1999, but the Franciscan spirit that existed then still resonates now, right? It's still here. It's still part of the reason you're here. It's still part of the reason so many faculty members or alumni at this point have come back, because they want to be a part of that Franciscan spirit. So I wanted to be a part of it, and I wanted to find a way to do more for you guys. So enter Brother David in 2019. There's Brother David. Brother David comes in, new principal. Everybody we don't have a summer to get to know Brother. Brother just, he's here, and we get ready for a school year. So at our first faculty meeting, one of our first faculty meetings, Brother David, asked all the theology teachers to raise their hand or stand up. So the theology department raised their hand, stands up, and Brother says, no. Will all the theology teachers here at St. Anthony's please stand up? And then it clicks with everybody. Like, we're all faculty members here at St. Anthony's. It's our job to be, to help you guys find your way, all right, with God, with faith. God first, right? You've heard Brother say that many times, God first. So it's all of our job to help you guys see that, all right, and that's what we need to do. So the more I thought about Brother basically telling, testing the faculty and sharing with the faculty what he expected, all these thoughts running through my head, like, I'm just who I am. What do I know? How am I going to do this? How am I prepared, to open up and be a teacher for you guys and to help you guys see God, all right, and open your eyes to your faith and be open to everything. So, again, God acts in mysterious ways. Shortly after, in one of the daily reflections I read in the morning, I come across this Bible verse, and I'll read it for you guys. Jesus appointed 72 other disciples whom he sent ahead of him in pairs to every town and place he intended to visit. He said to them, "The harvest is abundant, but the laborers are few. So ask the master of the harvest to send out laborers for his harvest." So let's just talk about this real quick. Let's just talk about a basic farmer, right? A basic farmer, what's his job? Right? He needs to prepare the soil, sow his seeds, feed the land, and produce a plentiful harvest. Right? So if he does all this, now he needs help, right? He needs someone to come and help harvest the land, all right, and get everything out there and continue to make his living, as he needs to as a farmer. So what is Jesus asking us here, right? He's clearly not sending his disciples out to go harvest the land, right? What is he telling us? Right? He's asking his disciples to go out, right, and preach his message. Tell them about Jesus, right? In this instance, myself, all of you guys, all right, we are the harvest, right? And he needs his disciples to go out there and harvest the land, right? He wants them to tell us, what he is about, and he needs help to do that, right? So they are his helpers. His disciples are his helpers at that point. So essentially, right, that's what Brother David was asking the faculty for us to do. Like, we are Brother David's helpers. We are the Franciscan Brothers' helpers. We need to go out there, all right, and talk to you guys, encourage you guys to listen, to be open to God. So that's our main job. So again, how do I do this? Who am I to be able to do this? Right? I'm not sure, right? So we go through, Mr. Clawberg randomly threw a bus on my presentation last night as we were working together. So there you go. So who is responsible to do this, right? We are, right? We are all responsible. So that's the who. What are we responsible for, right? To preach, to talk, to teach you about Jesus and to teach you about faith and Franciscan joy, okay? Where can we do this? Every day, right? Every day, every day of our lives we can do this. When should we do it? Again, wherever we are for that time, and when? Every day. Why should we do this? Because we are Roman Catholics. This is what we believe. This is what we want to teach and share with others. All right, and then how, right? That's the big question. How? And that's the question I found myself struggling with, is how am I going to do this? Am I prepared to do this? So as I'm pondering that question, how, right, I got to figure out, what am I going to do? So finally, it kind of clicks, right? I start to think about how, right? And I start to think about the gifts that God has given me. So I'm going to just rewind back here to the beginning of my presentation. Okay, so here's my how, right? I'm the athletic director of St. Anthony's High School. I'm the leader of the athletic department. So that allows me to make sure that our coaches incorporate prayer and God into everyday practice. All right, so that's one job. That's one thing I could do. That's one how. All right, two is I'm a varsity football coach. Same situation, right? I can make sure that prayer is a part of our daily practice, but I also now have the ability to develop relationships with you guys and to have those conversations, those more personal conversations about my faith and about your faith. Again, I'm an alum, right? I've been immersed into the Franciscan spirit. All right, now I'm a part of the Franciscan spirit in this building. All right, and then my family, right? My family supports me in being here. All right, we talk about faith at home. We talk about God at home. They help me to do that. And then all the other things that helped me here, right? As I went through this journey here, recognizing the people in my life at St. Anthony's that got me back here. So I start thinking to myself, like, that's my how, right? I talk to the football guys all the time about what's in your toolbox. And what I mean by that is, all right, you're a pass rusher, you're this, you're that. Like, what skills do you have to make yourself successful for that play or in football? And the same thing with other sports, or if you're in fine arts, whatever. What's in your toolbox? So I start to think to myself, well, these are things in my toolbox, right? This is what I have to help share that message. All right, so if we begin to realize that the gifts that God gave us, all right, he gave us for a reason, right? Right? We are made in the image of God, right? God is our Father. He made us. He knows what he gave us. So he expects us to use the gifts that he gave us as our how, as our toolbox. So it may have taken me a long time to maybe recognize that, but I did. So I'm here, and I'm lucky enough to be standing in front of you guys right now to kind of share that. So as you guys ask those same questions, how do I do that? It's simple. That question is just as simple as the who, what, where, when, and why. What do you have? What is your toolbox? What gifts did God give to you? And that's all you need to do is use those gifts every day and let others see you using those gifts and sharing those gifts. All right? And then you are doing God's work. It is really that easy. All right? So recognize that. Understand that. All right? Use those gifts for good. So, again, if we think about this, all the other questions are easy to answer, right? I just want to point out a few other things. I think I'm probably running out of time here at this point. But as you go through today, listen with an open mind and heart, right? Understand why Mass and the Eucharist are so important in our lives, but also understand that all of us were sent forth by the Lord to spread the good news to others. And like the scripture previously read reveals, the world is like a field of abundant fruit waiting to be picked. Too often it sits there, withering on vines with no harvest, and that is where you come in. All right? Your job, all right, is to harvest the land, is to harvest one another, all right, and open others' eyes and to the faith that you guys have inside you. So thank you guys, and thank you for your attention. Thank you again, Brother Richard, for allowing me to be up here. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day today.